This is our first little podcast. Man, we've been talking about doing this for how long now?
I know it's a big dream of yours, like start podcasts and YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do this for years, but we both started talking about doing this like a long time ago though. But finally just got our asses and sat down and started doing it. This is what it is. We're in my garage right now. It's not the best, but we don't care. This is just for fun. It is what it is. But we want to start off by having like a little short introduction. Just letting y'all know who we are. And then, kind of why we created this whole podcast. I'm Taish from Kansas originally. I started there I started racing and everything when I was like a teenager. I started out with Hondas, building them, racing them, all that stuff. And then moved on to the JZ world, this car, what I got in Kansas. And then I didn't start doing anything crazy until I got here to Texas.
Big white bitch.
Yeah, this is my big white bitch. So once I got here, I did the engine swap, all that other stuff like that. And long story short, I've been racing for about 15 plus years, I'll say, like actually street racing. And that's just a little bit about me. I'm just nothing too crazy. And then I met Anthony during the time I moved here in Texas to the street racing scene. And he had a S2000 at the time. It was a pretty clean ass S2000.
The good old days.
But yeah.
What's up, y'all? I'm Anthony. Probably been in the cars, probably about the same. And ever since high school, I guess, I was in the cars. It actually started on the opposite end. I was into off-roading. Had me an old Chevy Blazer back in the day. Also known as the GMC Jimmy. That was the first thing I got. 33s on it, thought I was cool to go mudding. That's where it all kind of started. Started there, got into cars, got into trying to do it all myself when I had my little Integra. I had a little MK4 GTI and a little DC2 Integra GSR, and got into trying to mess with that back in the old school days. P28, socketed ECUs.
Those were the days right there, man.
Although logging wasn't even a thing back then at the beginning. It was more, they socketed and soldered the ECUs.
The little chips you put in.
We used to use all the chip burners and stuff, using all the old school little programs. And it was pretty much tell the car what you wanted it to do, burn the chip, stick it in the car, and it just did what it told you to.
Yep.
Very old school.
That was that old Chrome.
That was what I started on, was Chrome. And then they came out with the logging, which you could overlay, but you had to solder in the whole wiring setup for Oshers 2.0 and all that stuff. So
man, I remember those days.
So started with all that stuff back then. I got deep into Euros. Military put me over in Germany, so I got deep into Euros while I was over there, and that was pretty fun. But I've always been kind of a Honda guy, Volkswagen guy through it all. And I've had a lot of cars over the years, a lot. I'm 36 now, and I think I've built a combination of self-built, shop-built, self-tuned, shop-tuned, over 38 cars now.
Yeah, I think I'm up there as well. I think I'm...
So...
Yeah, anywhere between... I lost track. If you want to talk about actual cars, like race cars, whatever, race cars, like builds like that, yeah, I'm probably in the 30s as well. Man, I forgot about all my little other cars. But yeah, I started actually working on cars, I was going to say, when I was like probably 8 or 9 with my grandpa. My very first vehicle I started working on was a small block, a 350 small block carbureted on his truck. It was like a 60 or 50 something Chevy truck. I forgot, man, but we used to call it Old Blue. That was my very first time ever turning a wrench with my grandpa. But yeah, anyway, so here we are today. This thing is, it's not, I'm gonna say built. The motor's not built, but the car is built. Everything, every nut and bolt almost has been touched on this thing. It's an original manual, but I went to 3 different transmissions, from the stock to the RM54, which is a little better than stock, but not that great. And now Granite's T56 swap in here. And then it's a stock block GTE and cams valve springs, retainers, big turbo, E85, blah blah blah. So I guess this is my most powerful build, but not my more. I don't know. I don't want to say more extensive. It kind of is. I guess it kind of is. I did a Civic back in the day that I did everything through and through, but it was like a stock motor build. I rebuilt the factory motor and then I just made the car super fresh, super nice. But
I think a lot of my Hondas were probably the most extensive builds,
yeah,
but they're definitely not the fastest ones I've owned.
Right.
Over the years.
Same.
For sure.
Most of mine, I kept stock single cam or something. I did a B series on a couple of them, but I never did anything crazy. Like, it was just simple and clean.
Yeah.
And like,
or doing all the full setup to go like boosted and stuff, but
right.
then you're only running like 7 pounds.
Yeah,
you know, it's making
that's
like,
all those little things to take it.
Making like 350 wheel horsepower, and you're happy as can be. You know. No, ever since essentially when I got out, I guess you can say in the real world, I'm on outside of high school. As soon as I could start driving, I kind of got balls deep into cars and trucks. Like I said, it went from off-roading to going fast. Once I got a taste of going fast, it just kind of stuck. I've always been really addicted to like the whole like concept of like how motors work, what they do, what makes them run better. So when I got that Integra and I started digging into like the whole chrome, the whole tuning aspect and all that stuff. I don't like electronics, I guess you could say. I don't want to I don't like wiring stuff, but I am like tech savvy and I just kind of dove into it and I really enjoyed it. And then doing that that side of it, right? Because like a lot of us get into cars and you know, you pull an intake off, put an intake on. You pull an exhaust off, put exhaust on. You know, you do all these little hands-on things, essentially working on your car.
Yeah.
And we all do that, but we never actually like go in depth of like the actual science behind it.
Yeah.
Like a motor is a pump. How does this pump work? How can I make it work better? You know, I put this exhaust on because it says it's better, but do you actually know why it's better? Do you actually understand, you know, why this cam is better, this and that? And
yeah, same. So
it kind of like just became an addiction, honestly. And so as the years went on, every car I got, if there's any way for me to like self-tune it, I wanted to. If there's any way for me to like self-build it or measure things or, you know, get into the, you know, the depths of like the setup, you know, like what's the valve, you know, valve clearance, what's the, you know, everything like that. Like I got obsessed with like knowing all the details and then what can I do to make it better?
Same. And my thing was I was never the one to always go by the book. Like I did read all the forums back in the day. That was a thing. That's how old we are.
Yeah.
Forums, man. I'd be on forums all the time looking at what other people's done, but at the same time, I'm always trying to do my own thing as well. Mind you, I grew up poor as hell, so I didn't have like a bunch of resources. My resources was forums, and then if anybody else I knew around town, you know, who knew somebody. But I'm pretty much like, I say 95% self-taught on all the shit I know about cars.
Well, you know, like as I got into like tuning my own cars and stuff over the years, like fuel trims wasn't anything anybody cared about back in the day.
No, I think AFRs was like the most in-depth.
And even then, you know, like you go back to like, you talk about you did stuff with your grandfather. Oh, carbureted stuff. Nobody gave a shit about AFR.
No, if it didn't hesitate, if it pulled the gas and it pulled,
it pulled, right? So I mean, you know, I think as motors got into tighter tolerances and got like, you know, modern day stuff, and then not just that, nothing's
more advanced.
99% of stuff is built aluminum now.
Yeah,
you know, they don't take the abuse that the old stuff used to. Now, granted, we're talking about a much more advanced setup modern day too. Like we make way more power nowadays on smaller stuff. Yeah. You know. They always say no replacement for displacement. I say boost is the counter to that.
Oh, definitely is. It's all day.
But you know, it always intrigued me with this whole motor thing and what I can do to affect that and what I can do to improve it. And that led all the way up to a modern day. You know, starting a podcast. You've always wanted to do a podcast. I've always like tinkered with stuff and I know you always yelled at me about this. You need to go out and do tuning. You know, you really like it. You really care. Go do it. And I'm finally doing it nowadays. So
I'm proud of it.
That's actually like pretty fun. That's where I'm at today. But I mean, cars are. I think the biggest problem modern day, which is kind of another topic we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, we'll get onto that in a minute.
Yeah,
for sure.
it's just too many people today are not into cars. They're into social media, and I think that's the biggest problem today. That has really killed our culture.
So I'm gonna go into, why we kind of created this podcast too. Kind of went over some of it, about. Okay, so we basically created this podcast because it's for one, something kind of wanted to do for the longest time. Two, it's a different perspective from people that are actually we're out here. We've been out here, whether we're not the big dogs or whatever, but we've been out here in the streets, you know what I'm saying? Street racing for years. We with the little guys and we've been with the big guys. I mean, we've been everywhere in between. And I think it's cool to have a different perspective because we got all these people, podcasting the big dogs with, shops and all the stuff like that, but we're just normal fucking people.
I think the biggest thing today is people forget, it doesn't matter. You can have a 200 horsepower car and still enjoy this lifestyle. Mm-hmm. If you want to go out, and when I say these things, such as street racing and stuff like that, starting all this stuff back in the day. I say back in the day. I'm not, I'm only 36 years old, but still, nonetheless, modern day street racing is takeovers and blocking traffic and taking all this crap.
Those two.
I know, but I mean
that's what everybody else wants it to be like.
That's what it's perceived
the authority,
as.
Whatever they try to say. It's nowhere near the same thing. I hate when people mix that up. He's not doing that. I'm just saying, when people mix that shit up, it pisses me off because it's not the same thing. It's nowhere near. Takeover is not even a car thing. It's just I'm sorry, but it's just a fucked up mindset. People that are just idiots. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with racing or anything cool. It's dumb. It's fucking dumb.
Oh, it's just trying to get cool points, clout chasing. But a lot of people today aren't into cars to actually be into cars, right? They want to go out because it's become a cool thing to do. Let me go pay for this, expensive car. Let me go get a Hellcat and put a pulley on it and go race people, and I want to get videos of it, right? They want the attention. They're not if you took social media away, you took YouTube away, Instagram away, TikTok away, you took all that away where people can't get views and likes. I really think half the people out here in the street right now, they wouldn't even go out no more. They wouldn't show up to the meets somewhere. They wouldn't do that. And over the years, I mean, dude, when we lived in North Fort Worth back in the day, we were going out Wednesday through Sunday night. Oh, yeah. We were showing up to meets that only had 20 people at it. And everybody had their little homemade built car. They did themselves. They had their special tuner they used. They had everything. And there were no draggy times. There were no this, no that. It was lineup and racing.
Yep.
And you would look at the build, decide if you were, if it was worth racing, if you want to take the risk or not, throw a little money on the line, whatever, and you'd run.
We didn't care about horsepower or anything. If it was too far off, of course.
But there's also,
if it was somewhere in 100, 200 horsepower range.
It was also a respect to the community back then too. You weren't trying to plow down roads where kids were. You weren't, we went to excluded areas during hours where nobody was in traffic. Now I'm not saying that makes it right? It's still against the law. We all know what it is. But
that's why we do it in Mexico.
Yeah, in Mexico. But the respect between community and those that did it was there.
Yeah.
And then you fast forward to today, and everything's on video. Everybody wants to post it. And the more dangerous it is, the more cool points they can get, and that's what it's become. And that's what sucks about it. And that's why I say I really think half the community would dip if you took social media away.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree on that for 100%. Because, man, I mean, it kind of skipped over the whole why created thing all the way, but it is what it is. I do agree, and that's where we kind of come into our next topic is the delusion of what a fast car is nowadays. Social media has affected that in such a negative way. There's positives to that, but it's affected it to a negative manner because all people see now are the super fast cars that these shops build, or that these millionaires or people that with a big fucking fat wallet has built. You know what I'm saying? And it's 1% of the entire car world That's all it is. It's not your everyday Joe out here with the fucking Mustang and or whatever else. You barely see those people that are running that fast, like 4s and 3s and 2s in the fucking like 6130s and 6 second, 7 second quarter miles, 8 second quarter miles. That's not an everyday thing. There's a handful of people in Texas that are like that fucking fast. And
the thing is, I mean, there's quite a few that are that
it's not
fast.
an everyday. You won't go to these car meets like we were talking about, right?
No.
We can't just go to these race meets, even like the big race meets.
You can go the majority of the only time you'll see
maybe 1 to 2 cars there that are, I would say 9 second cars or faster. I would say.
Oh, you're talking about like quarter mile times?
Quarter mile time or 6130s. I would say anything that's between 5s and 7s. I would say most of these meets.
There's really fast drag cars out here on the street. I will say that there's a whole lot of really fast drag cars.
We talking about actual like drag big racing. Yeah. There's
but
really
when you go out, but that also plays like, so, and this is what I mean by like there's totally different worlds and categories, right? Like you have a 200 horsepower car and still be respected. I mean, personally, I know like you're talking about the delusion. Somebody with 200 horsepower car doesn't get no respect these days, but I mean, you take a 300 horsepower Honda and you strip it down to weigh 2,000 pounds, and you take it out here. A lot of people beg to differ, but I mean, if it gets traction, dude, it'll pull some bigger power cars, and that's just the reality of it. But
we've seen it. We've seen some all motor Hondas beat out some big block Chevys or whatever, like supercharged cars, even like supercharged V8s from a dig.
But the biggest thing today, with like you were talking about delusion of what is fast. When it comes to drag cars modern day, I will say running 9s is very, very common these days in a quarter mile. However, all these cars have years of R&D behind them when gearing and everything like that, transmission builds, all this stuff. It's real easy to get that now through a gearing concept to run an 1/8 mile or a quarter mile, stuff like that. Traction is a big key. There's a lot that goes into it that plays. But there is a delusion on how easy it is to do that. And I will say that. I will say it is a lot more common to see cars out there running 9s today. However, there is a delusional aspect through social media and everything that has like younger generations thinking that like, oh, everything can run an 8 or 9. Look at this BMW.
I wouldn't even say just younger generation. There's people all in all age. All age ranges.
But
like that.
I don't think they understand like we'll go with a brand new car. You can take a brand new Camaro SS, and people may give me trash for this online, but you're not going to do bolt-ons in a tune and go out there and run 9s. It ain't happening. No. You can shit the bed. It ain't happening. No, you're not even going to do bolt-ons in a tune and run out there and run 6s 60 to 130. No, you're not going to do it.
You'll probably be in the 9s.
And these are the majority of the cars that you see out there, right? Like, and I think that delusion that says, well, 5 second 60 to 130 is common. 9 second quarter mile is common. 5 second 1/8 mile is common. Like are there massive amounts of cars out there doing it? Well, yes.
There's more. Yeah, there
are a lot more today than there was.
Sure,
but the problem is that if we drive down the street right now tonight to a race spot happening tonight, like a roll race spot, right? Because it's modern day and roll racing. That's another thing, right? A lot of people say, oh, there's a controversy from people that like to do digs, people that like to roll race. One hates the other hates the other. Social media has made it seem like since Draggy came out that like roll racing is way more common now. Roll racing has been around a long time, way back in the day, dude. I don't know how many.
Since I was a teenager.
Dude, I'm telling you, like roll racing's been around for a long time. Like it's always been a thing on the street.
I was probably 16, 17 when I got my license, all that shit, whatever, and I was roll racing back then. My little Hondas, bro.
Yeah, but
beep beep beep. You're in like second gear for 10 years, but it was fun.
But when we get into like what is fast, right? Honestly, dude. You go down here, 90% of the cars at the meet are probably running 7s and slower, 60 to 130, and that's just facts. And all those common cars, right, that are running 7s and slowers with full bolt-ons and tunes, you know, a lot of these guys, they'll build the trans, put better gearing in it, maybe put a power adder on it, and boom. Now, when you talk about modded cars, I will say the common numbers today for a modded car are 6s. I'd say it's a very, very median number. Common
6s, 7s.
Yes.
Maybe I would say between 6 and 8s. I would say that range. That's a pretty broad range depending on the car.
When you get into modding it and
Yeah.
all that, it is you know. And personally, I think anything 7s is a pretty quick car. Personally,
that's to me it's pretty fucking fast.
yeah, I think 7s is considered pretty quick, and I think almost all platforms can get into 7s even with a stock motor, you know, stock trans. I mean, most platforms you can get to a 7. So when you look at like, okay, a full bolt-ons, a power adder, this and that, a good tune, some good weather, you go, you know, upgraded fueling to E85, that's always, you know, the go-to for everybody on the street. You start getting into 7s pretty decent. You can push some platforms into 6s. And there, don't get me wrong, there are platforms that can go full bolt-on, power adders, everything, and be in the 5s. However, most cars pushing into the 5s without going built something, usually they're on a risk factor. They're on the time bomb for sure. Or they're a super high-end car that you spend a lot of money for. And
that's what I was gonna get at too.
And it is possible. It is possible to run these times, but it's not common.
No,
it's not common.
And my thing on that is, I think anything's possible, of course, right? But we're talking about these cars that are running that fast. It's not cheap. You're not gonna run that cheap, dude. Most of these cars you're not. The cheapest cars you'll probably run that with is, honestly, I would say between the BMWs and like just some of the Euros. A lot of the Euros actually nowadays. The Volkswagens, the Audis, S3s, RS3s, all that shit like that. I'll say that's relatively cheap compared to other cars like that you got to put all the work into, all the money into.
Yeah, I mean my Golf R, I had a total of I think $7,500 into the car. And I was on all seasons. I didn't even do a tire or nothing.
Yeah,
and I mean that car full weight did 6.5s, 60 to 130. So I mean, it's possible. Now but again, I ran 6.5s, but that's not common. It's not. Can people do that on that platform every day? Yeah, sure, but it's not common. And there's even been some guys that have dipped into the 5s on like all stock motor, stock trans, everything on my platform, and that's really not common. But did they do it? Yes, they did. So you know, that's where we go. Like, are all these cars capable of doing it? Yes. But it's not common. And this is why I say, you know, majority of these cars you go out here, 7s is quick. In a bigger scheme of thing, I mean, if you have a car that runs 7s and you drive down the road to fucking go to HEB, you're walking half these cars, you know? Yeah. I mean, put it into perspective. A Lamborghini Huracan stock, I believe runs like 10s, 60 to 130.
Really?
It's like 9s or 10s.
I have to look that up.
It's not crazy fast, you know? And then even when you do like smaller power adders, like you do a little supercharger on them, stuff like that, they still don't go crazy. So now, the crazy thing about that platform though is that when you start doing twin turbo, upgraded fueling, upgraded stuff, they can handle a lot of power. But you're talking about a $200,000 car, and it even does 10s. It's a supercar. This man really don't believe me. He wants to look it up.
I mean, I just want to see. I don't know.
But the thing is, like these Huracans, you know, and people look at them like oh, it's a Huracan. But you know, even supercars like that don't run these crazy times. It takes modification, you know, to get down into faster cars. But and that doesn't go to say some platforms are better at others than achieving that 100%. And if your pocketbook isn't limited, then anything can be fast.
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of part of my point of being like the delusional thing on like what's fast. It's like anything can be fast with a deep pocket. So just because you sent your car to a fucking shop and you spend $100,000 on it, I mean,
the average Joe
can't afford that. No, they're not. The average Joe is maybe, I would even say, between $5,000 to like maybe even on a high scale $30,000 on their car, like spending that much to mod it.
I think a lot of people,
world, like,
well, you know, a lot of us Americans make bad money choices.
Right. But I'm just saying, like that's what we're doing. So we're not gonna get those numbers at these motherfuckers that are, you know, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on their fucking cars to build. We're not gonna get those times and those horsepower numbers like that. I mean,
I think too many people think
some people will, because depending on the platform, right? You'll get a fucking 5.3 out of the fucking junkyard, make 800 horsepower all day with a fucking eBay turbo, and beat a lot of these fucking Lambos and other shits. I mean, it just depends on your platform and what you want to do. And again, it depends on what you're gonna be driving at the end of the day too. You're gonna be driving a rust bucket with no AC, or you're gonna drive this.
Well, it's not even that. You know, like the biggest hype right now is the BMWs. Yeah. How many of the BMWs do you see running 5s or even low 6s without doing a built trans?
And built motors.
Well, they'll run that on stock motor.
I personally haven't seen any with stock motor. Like,
but yeah. I've got a stock motor and he runs 5. Don't get me wrong, Chris.
Is he running 5?
I think he ran what, 5 6s, something like that.
But he's also pushing the fuck out of it.
I mean, he's pushing it.
But
my point is,
everyone that I've seen like that, they don't last. I'm not trying to put no. I don't
that
know
goes,
if your car blows up, Chris. I hope not. But everyone that I've seen running that fast,
but that goes to my statement I made earlier. Most platforms today can get to 6s pretty decent. You run 5s, you're pushing it, and even then you got to build, right? Like so. And I know a lot of V8 guys are gonna talk trash on this, right? Like, oh, my car runs 5s and I didn't do nothing.
All the V8 guys.
Well, I'm gonna ask you though. You say you did nothing. Oh, it's still stock motor. Well, it's stock block, but did you build the head? Yeah, it's a full aftermarket built head. Is it cammed? It's fully fucking.
You also gotta be careful because these guys lie their asses up. You say they said stock block, right? They're not lying because the block itself is stock, but their internals are fucking different internals. They got fucking CP fucking pistons and fucking all kind of different rotating assembly inside. But it's a stock block. Like, no, motherfucker.
I ain't gonna lie.
I can't stand that shit.
I pulled that in the chat earlier today.
Man, I can't stand that shit. Like my car, this car is a stock fucking block. It's a stock.
I did it.
Technically, it's a stock motor. There hasn't been, that head has never came off that fucking block. It has cams in it, yes, but the cams were done with the block and head together. That's technically a stock fucking rotating assembly stock block. This fucking motor has never been unsealed, ever.
I think, I think the biggest thing isn't even like I know we all focus on.
I can't stand that part. Like stock block, bro, stock block. Yeah, your block itself, the fucking the metal is stock.
I will defend the V8 guys, and we're import guys, so that's why there's a clash. But I will defend the V8 guys.
I love all.
Yeah, I would defend the V8 guys though. I mean, they can, right? They can take a stock LS.
Yes, they can.
And they can make over 1,000. It is true. They can untouch it and they can make over 1,000. They can do that. But the reality is that it doesn't just come with this is a stock whatever, and it's like, no, you didn't. You did a full, Frankenstein built head on cams. You studded it. You did a major power adder. You did a built transmission, a built rear end. You got a drag pack on it. You got suspension work on it and all that to be in the low 6s or in the 5s, right? You did all this work to get there, and that's what's never talked about. And that's the delusion that social media has come now. Oh, it's just a car with a blower. That's it.
Yeah.
No, it's not. You got 10 grand into all your other stuff.
Yeah.
To be able to achieve.
Some guys got 10 grand in suspension. 10 grand or more in suspension alone.
Yeah. And there's controversy out there. There's junkyard builds where people have made it happen with way less. And don't get me wrong. I mean, now. Here's a caveat to that. A lot of people would say, well, I did whatever swap to whatever car, and I only spent $5,000, and I made 800 wheel horsepower, and I run 6s. Okay, but the question is, the reality is though that the person that you bought all that off of secondhand, the person that you got these knockdowns from secondhand, that wasn't the original price. And don't get me wrong, that you did spend that price, and that is the reality of it. And buying secondhand stuff that works is grand. That's the great thing about the market, right? Like you can do that. You can buy secondhand and do things a lot cheaper. But that original build definitely wasn't $5,000. It was probably 20, 25. I mean, how many of these what is that? The LT what?
LT
One blowers, the V3 blowers. like you buy a brand new one, they're expensive.
I believe they're LT4s.
LT4s.
I don't know. I'm not huge on it.
But either way, you know, people are taking those and swapping them out on like older LSs and stuff and making good power. But you know, you go buy a brand new one, they're expensive. But these guys are going 2650, you know, and they spend, what is it, $8,000 on that blower, or is it more?
Nah, I don't know how much they're. I'm not sure. I can't even quote on it. I know they're pretty pricey.
You know,
but a lot of people, I know a lot of LS guys that get the LSA motor or supercharged and swap it out.
And they do good, and they do really good.
Yeah,
you do
ported blower, pulley down, and I've seen some max efforts like 900 horsepower.
On the lids, you do the Z01 lids or whatever with the intercooler bricks, all that. You know, ice tank. I mean, they perform really.
But again, it's still somewhat pricey. I mean, it's cheap compared to other things.
I think like all these numbers are all right. So the main point of that topic was what is fast, right?
Yeah. Is it fast? What is really fast?
I think that, you know, a lot of us get to that point of being sixes and faster. And then, you know, it takes a little work to get to the fives. And then once you're at the fives, it does take a lot of work to get into the fours.
I feel like it takes a lot of work even to get from sixes to fives. Like
it does take a good amount of work.
From sevens to sixes is still a pretty good amount of work. I mean, it could be the difference between traction or whatever, but
I think
depends on how high you are in the sevens, you know.
Yeah. I think getting a car, depending on the platform, right? I mean, if the motor can't handle the power, can't handle the power. Most modern cars today can get in the sixes. Whether they're being pushed or not pushed, they can get in the sixes. And so you see a lot more cars on the street in the sixes. But like I said, you know, we go right down here to the meet, 90% of the cars are sevens or slower. And that's just the reality of it, right? Because majority of these cars with a small power adder, full bolt-ons and a tune on the 85, they're going to be right around the sevens, you know, or some a little slower, some a tad bit faster, but the majority of them are, the sevens is a pretty common time to be at, you know, like if you're in the sevens, there's a lot of cars out here you can run and be close with. Then you got the more heavily modded cars, and they're in the sixes, fives range, depending on the platform, stuff like that. And then most of these cars, you're not getting, you know, low fives or faster unless you're built. You got to build everything.
For sure.
And that's even some of these big V8 guys. You know,
there's only a handful of non-built, like even with these, like there's a couple guys in the fours that were on stock motor, stock block.
But that's the thing, that's stock block, right? And like the LS guys and stuff, they can run stock block, make 1,000 and run those times. But they're not getting it without going built head, built trans, built rear end, you know, big power adder, all this kind of stuff.
A lot of guys I even talked to, because I was asking, you know, what's done to your car, and a lot of guys were stock block, they just had cams and shit and valve springs, retainers like me.
Built head.
And I guess a stock ported head, everything else was just valve train. But they had head studs and valve train. That was it. They're running 5s and 4s and 6130s on bone stock blocks. Some of these guys got over 100,000 miles, man. And that's the same way with some of these LSs, man. It's the same way. But I feel like there's not that many platforms that are like, I guess, quote unquote, cheap-ish. I say cheap compared to like, you know, Lambos and like
there's
GTR.
Money always goes fast,
like
right?
That.
Period. Money always goes fast. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
But there
I want to say these are cheap, by the way. These are not fucking cheap to fucking do anything to.
There are a few platforms out there where you can jump into the sixes and stuff like that for fairly cheap. Like, I mean, you can find a high mileage C6 Z06 and get it for a decent price. You throw heads on that thing, you throw, I mean, that's gonna be your biggest mod, right? Like the heads and fueling, right? You do a full built head and some fueling. Those are your two biggest things. Get a good tune on it and a good clutch in it, and I mean that car right there.
Even then,
we've
that's
seen
like
it all day.
15, 20 grand right there, though.
I mean, it is pricey.
Quite a bit of money.
But it'll put you in the fives, and the cost to be there.
And that's all motor.
Yeah, and the cost to be there is actually, I mean, when you compare it to a lot of other things, that's not very bad. You know,
it's not that bad at all.
So I mean, there are quote unquote the cheaper routes to take depending on platform and setup and stuff, but it's not common.
Right.
I think that's the delusion out there. It's not common. I'm guessing that's what you're trying to get at. It's
it's
like
if
you go out to the street, what are you actually seeing on the street?
Yeah, and that's my thing. I'd say between sixes, and I'll put a broad range, 6s to 10s. That's what you mostly see on the streets and at the street racing scene, like actual street racing, not takeover. That don't count. That's not racing.
Yeah.
But
Well,
when we're out there,
everything had to take over is like 12 seconds, 16.
right.
So.
Probably fucking 15 seconds. But besides the Hellcats probably are too because they're fucking ball tires and anyway.
Well, a stock Hellcat.
I think
A stock Hellcat ain't that fast.
no, it's not.
My GTI whipped up a stock Hellcats, and
My Golf R fucking whipped up on it.
And I mean, I gained.
Scat Pack too. Like
I think before I ran into sixes in my GTI, manual GTI by the way, before it ever ran sixes, even when it ran like high sevens, I still did a Hellcat.
Yeah.
So I mean,
no shit talking about them. They're heavy cars, man, and they're not that fast for what they are. Like they can be. I've seen a lot of really fast ones. I would say a lot. I've seen a few really fast ones. Like
I think that's
Boosted Lucky, his shit's built now. You got
We're
Demonology, but these guys are like building
You're talking about
cars.
big dog
But
stuff. Big
as
dog
far as
stuff.
like a stock motor car,
Like what
I
you see
haven't
out
seen
here on the
very
street,
many. I haven't seen very many.
when you go out here to the street,
Yeah.
you see stuff.
Haven't seen
I
very
mean, you like we were talking about, money talks, right? Like you got all the big dogs, and all their stuff's fast, man. There's no way around it. They're fast.
Money is fast.
Yeah, but money's fast. You know, there's a misconception when it comes to fast, definitely from social media today.
Yep, like that's what I
And-
said.
and I
It
know
made
that's what
everybody.
you're
It made
getting
it not everybody, but it made a lot of people delusional into like what's really fast.
People
That's
that
my point
are
about it.
getting
Like,
into the car world think they can do it easily.
Yes.
And it's not.
And
And
for
then-
some people it is easy because it's as easy as this, you know, taking out your wallet.
if they got the money.
I want a
yeah.
fucking 3 second
Yeah,
60
yeah,
to
yeah.
130 car.
Yeah.
And that's why there's a lot of these guys that are like that though. They're I mean, no disrespect. I'm just saying like if I had it like you, I would probably do the same thing. But I'd probably only do it to one car because I love working on cars. But anyway,
Well,
that's what I'm saying. It's like
well,
some people are delusional because that's all they do. They don't actually work on their cars. So
Yeah,
they just throw money at it, and then this comes into the next thing. We're talking like
but
clout
money,
chasing.
but money
Most of
is
them
what
do
you
it
need
for
to
the,
go.
most
fast.
of them do it for the clout, whether that's for social media or their friend group or whatever. Like they're not doing it for the love of fucking cars, and that shit pisses me off. And I've met some really cool guys that are rich, Lambos, all that shit, that are cool as fuck, and they do love it. They do love the shit. They just don't have the time, and I understand that. But then there are other guys that I've met that are rich that don't even give a fuck about the car, don't give a fuck about the car scene. They just come out to do your little clout bullshit. Oh, I beat that car right there. Oh, I'm posting it on social media. And then that's it. You don't hear from them again for a while. Because either A, they sold their car, or B, their car's sitting in the fucking garage as a fucking ornament.
Well,
But they
like
don't
I said,
care about
I mean,
anything else. And then that's a lot of other people too. They just, it's like we were talking about, social media, man.
Yeah.
It's made a lot of things good and bad. I think
It's brought a lot of limelight on the car scene, right?
It has.
And
In
what it
good way
is,
and bad way.
which is cool. But the problem is, it also attracts all the idiots.
all the fucking idiots.
Then you know, like a lot of people today, they want likes and views and all this kind of stuff, right? So everything they go to every day is a video. Everything they go to every day is a picture, and I want to be seen. I want to be liked. I want people to see my stuff and likes, right? And it's a society thing today, right? Like everybody's a virtual. What's the word I'm looking for? Like
it's like a what's that word?
like a
Attention whores. They're attention whores. In a
Well,
way. To me, that's my thing. I mean, there's some people that do it because they like vlogging, they like doing all that stuff. That's cool. Everything is cool.
Well,
whatever.
they go online for like confirmation, right? They go online to be like accepted, to like, to be liked, and we chase that through social media nowadays instead of getting it in the real world, and a lot of people, when cars are like the new fad thing right now, like having a nice car, going to the car meet, seeing the racing, going to these events, stuff. It gets a lot of views, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these people, and I mentioned this earlier, a lot of people, if you drop social media today, you would see half these people half these people wouldn't be at the car meets no more. They would drop out of the scene because they only do it to post videos, to do this stuff, because they don't actually like it. I mean, I've stayed up, and you've witnessed me doing this, cuts all over me and everything. My first Golf R I had, I've blown the turbo up. I've came home, I get the new one in the mail, and I swapped the stock one back on it so I can continue driving it.
Fucking been doing that?
I swapped the turbo 3 times in one night, just so I could have the car the next day. And
I think you were off the next day, but I had to work, and I still stayed up with your ass working on it.
No, we both worked because that was why the stock went back in at the end.
That's right. You had to go to work.
Because I had to go to work, and it was my only car at the time.
But yeah, we've done that many times.
So I got the new turbo in. I took the stock one off, put the new one on. It blew up. I had the other turbo I had ordered. So we took that one off, put that one on. Drove it down the street. It was grinding. It was bad. I was like, how did I get two bad turbos, from manufactured? Had to come back home and had to pull that off. And that's when you went to bed because it was like 5 in the morning.
Yeah, I was like beat.
And I had to put the stock. I had to put the stock turbo back on, go in the shower, and drive to work because that was my only way to get to work. And that's where we talking about like my first golf car. I was tuning that on Eurodyne. So luckily, I was my own tuner. So at that moment, it was like, okay, I got it back together. I drove out, did a little quick bass tune on it, came back home, showered, went to work. But I swapped three turbos in one night just to make sure I had my car back on the road the next morning. And a lot of these guys nowadays, they're not into cars, and they will never do something like that to keep their car on the road. Oh, the car's down. Let me take a video of it. Hope I get views of it, and then it goes to a shop. And if they weren't doing all that and clout chasing all that, they wouldn't be out here in the car scene. And I know a lot of people probably disagree with me, but I
see that as a big thing for here now.
Here in Texas, street racing, I know it's illegal, don't do it, but it's a big thing. It's a
Texas / Mexico.
Hey, yeah, but it's a big thing here. Like it's a big culture here, and it's so huge. And honestly, all of my friends I've met through it, all my close friends, my family's been into it. I got cousins that are out here doing it. I mean, Texas is huge on this thing, dude. And there's generational families that have been out here in this game for, decades, dude.
Oh, yeah.
And
you see the kids.
And that's not just a Texas thing. I mean, it's just, Texas is known to be big in it, just like Louisiana is and all that other stuff. But every state has the same thing. Yeah,
Midwest area.
Yeah. But, you have that culture. You have all these people are in it, it's
real passion,
passion
love for the motorsport, for the cars, for everything.
And you can tell what those people are because when you see somebody that hand built a car, you respect it, you like it, whether it's slower, faster, it doesn't matter, right? Yeah. But then you got the people that are like, oh, that's not a $80,000 BMW, we don't care. That's not a $200,000 Lambo, we don't care. That's not a $200,000 R8, we don't care, or whatever, And it's like, well, you only care about that glorified stuff that you see all over social media because you're not in it for the passion, you're in it for the clout, You're in it and if everything you go to do with your car has to be posted, has to be shared, has to be liked, has to be this, you're only doing it because you want somebody like you're posting it and you want the like. Yeah,
you want to be validated. And that's the shit that pisses me off. Like, fucking who cares? Who gives a fuck? Who cares about any of that? Like,
well, I know a lot of people like even in our friends group, a lot of people talk trash with me, right? Because I'm always on there like shut up, fucking clout chaser. And I get a lot of people
talking shit, of course, but like some of it's the shit talking, some of it's truth, and it is what it is. Like there are some people that are like that, it's annoying, man. Like some people literally are just out there to get fucking likes and views. And if you're trying to make a livelihood out of it, I understand, but at the same time, like, go do something else that you fucking love. Like, stay out of the fucking car world. Like, and this has pissed me off for fucking years seeing people do this shit. Like that don't love the cars. I mean,
my thing is, right, like,
if you just come into the car scene because, again, you're trying to get clout, so you decide to make all these videos about. For one, you're ruining all the fucking spots because these dumbass idiots are out here they're fucking going to the spots and filming the spots. Then you got all your friends and their friends' friends and their friends' friends and their friends' coming to the fucking spots.
That's another thing.
All the good spots got fucking shut down.
Well, a lot of people, like I said, nowadays, they have a bum low car that they throw an intake on or a little loud pipe on.
I'm gonna take a shot. But these fucking VQ guys, bro. These fucking. There are some of them getting fast, and I respect them. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of these little fucking VQ guys who are like little fucking flies, but they'll follow you around, go to these fucking meets, and they'll just fucking ruin it. Just fucking ruin the whole fucking meet. And then some of these Mustang dudes too, like the slow guys. Burnouts and dumb shit, like, get the fuck out of here, bro.
I think the biggest thing too is like you said, that like because of social media, the word spreads, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really running the culture because, and this is what I mean by the clout chasing, right? There's a lot of people that we never saw at these meets for years, and we've been going to these meets for years, you know, here local, and now all of a sudden it's like, I want to say all of a sudden it's been going on for about probably good 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
It's gotten worse over the past 4 or 5 years, but you know, it was always the same people. You know, this person up their game, this person up their game, change their setup. Here we are racing again, you know, combating it out.
See who wins this week, next week. I did this.
No 60 to 130 times, no horsepower numbers. No, it was just what's done to your car, what's done to my car. Let's test it out, you know. And that's how it used to be. And now since Draggy's been out, all this stuff over the years,
it's nobody wants to race anybody else because. Oh, what's your draggy time? Oh, I ran this. Oh, well, I ran this. I'm faster than you. I'm not gonna race you. Okay, well, we talk about this all the time because both of us have done this, right? We've raced cars. We punch up, right? We race cars that are faster than us. Cars that are run, like especially Anthony's.
Well, that run times faster.
Run times faster.
Yeah. Cars that run faster times.
Like Anthony's car, I know for a fact. I've filmed a lot of them. When my car was down, I was fucking filming like all his fucking races. Dude, there's guys that have shown us their fucking draggies, like, and we've seen them running fucking like 6s and stuff when his car was running 7s at the time, and cars that run what's that Mustang ran? It was a 700 some horsepower Cobra or something. I don't remember what he ran, but anyway, he was 700 some horsepower, 700 plus.
You're talking about that dude that came from Oklahoma?
Yeah, it came from Oklahoma, and his Golf R at the time was full bolt-on, turbo.
It was a Terminator.
85.
Yeah, my old Golf R. Yep.
And his car I think it made 400 to the wheel.
Made 470. Well, dynos are irrelevant. You know, every dyno's
it made 400s.
Right?
400s
on the dyno that we used, it made 4. Yeah, it was 4. I don't remember the exact number. It was 4 something.
4 something. But anyway, dude came from Oklahoma and he was calling out different people here and whatever.
It was 700 horsepower.
So
he ran those Zach's SS.
Yeah. And then
Zach made 7 something back then.
Yeah, Zach beat him by a little bit, whatever. It was a good race. We lined up next to him, raced him, and dude, Anthony's fucking golf was fucking pulling on him, dude, until like top in, and then he started coming back a little bit, but the race was over.
Yeah, it was like door to 160.
My point is on that though, like this draggy numbers and this horsepower shit, like it doesn't always matter, like dude, because there's guys that have made 1,200 horsepower, right? But like it's on a big turbo car, like a lot of Supras and 2JZ cars. They're like, I'll say older setups, but they'll make 1,200 horsepower, peak horsepower, way up here in the top of the RPM. But down low, they're only making like 600, 700, 800 horsepower, if that. You know what I'm saying? And that's like through their actual power band. So you race a car that makes 800, 900 and get fucking mollywopped by because he's actually making that power through his whole power band.
Depending on the power band, yeah.
While you're only making that.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't. Well, you know, racing and draggy times. So draggy is a tool, and I think that's what we all.
It's like the diamond.
Yeah, I think that's what we all forget. Draggy is a good tool. You can use a tool to see your improvements. However, that tool can be used on a measure. Like, don't get me wrong, right? A twin turbo R8 running 2s, and my car running 6s. Yeah. The odds are I race him on milliwatt. It ain't gonna be a close race.
Not even close. But that's what we're talking about too. Though, like the difference between a 7 to the 6, from 6s down to 5s and 5s down to 4. Yeah, that gap gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
As the time gets faster, your distance gets extremely shorter, right? So running a 6.5, 60 to 130, and then running a 5 flat has a pretty good difference. And
there's a lot of power, there's a lot of traction, there's a lot of different things.
But the distance to finish that. To get to that 130 drops a good amount. Now, going from a 5 to a 4 second is a drastic difference in that distance. And this is where, you know, a car that runs, let's say a 4.5 and a car that runs a 4.0, I mean, that's a significant difference. But a car that runs a 5.5 and a 6.5, you can line them up, dude. It's very possible because if that 5.5 even loses traction for a second and has to get out of it and back in it, that could be the difference of the race. And not just that.
That's the same with a 6 to a 7. Like there's a close race. We even seen with our cars. Like this car, and then his GTI at the time. His car was running like consistent 7.0s or something at the time. So it was when he draggied it, but one of the nights we ran, I dragged in my car and ran a 6.4 or 6.5 first, and he was like really close to me. Did a 6.4 another night,
I was on the
and
bumper.
he was like pretty much on my fucking bumper. But his car consistently ran 7.0s. But that night, I guess, I don't know what it was. But the point is,
yeah, I didn't have a draggy on mine, so who knows?
that was a pretty good distance from what his car normally supposed to run.
And this is another
they were
factor.
close.
And this is another factor too, right? A 60 to 130 measurement is a time to get from one speed to the other. It doesn't time how fast in between there is, right? So a lot of us, we take 60 to 130 times to heart, right? Who's to say that I don't come off anti-lag and jump 2 cars out in front of you? Now, you're 60 to 130 to be faster. But now you have to make up more than 2 car lengths of distance to actually come around me in a race. So I may be accelerating to 130 slower than you are, but because of the way the hit happened,
You saying we both started at the same time.
I have less
but
distance
your anti-lag
yes.
helps you jump
And
out.
I think so. And then there's the other side of it. Maybe we lead together, and you get to 130 a little faster. But what if my 100 to 140 is significantly faster than yours? So now I shift a gear and I pick up way harder than you do. The 60 to 130 is a tool. The 60 to 130 is a tool, right? But when you actually line up to race people, there's a lot of things that go into. There's a lot that goes into play.
The weather.
Yes. And
the road. I mean, all that's different.
And all the cars that I raced that clocked at, in the 5s, my car bested a 6.5. Could it have possibly ran faster when we pulled all the weight out? I never jacked it. It's very possible. But I clocked, my recorded time was a 6.5. All these 5.5s, 5.6s, and all these cars that I ran, I put 2 or 3 cars on them in a race.
Yeah.
And you would see it with my anti-lag would let me leave together, which I never dragged on anti-lag, right? I always drag it off of it. I saved anti-lag for the abuse of races. But, we would leave together, and they'd either stay with me or they would kind of creep out, and then boom, I would just yank on that top end. And, it goes into play. That 6130 is a tool, but it doesn't mean that it is the end all be all of how the race is going to end.
Right.
Now, what I said with the tool, can't take a 9-second car and race a 4-second car. No. The difference in power there is so significant. That gap is
huge.
Yes. Yeah. But just because you run a second faster than me, I don't care. Line it up. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. So, and I think that's definitely the culture we got away from. We got far away from enjoying the thrill of racing and being a part of that. We got way far away from that and got more into like time racing.
Yeah.
I feel dominant because my time is faster, so you can't race me. Well, run it, see what happens. Because even if I lose, if I'm on your bumper, I think you'd be surprised at the car. There'd be a different respect level and different aspects of everybody's builds and stuff. So I don't know. It is just me. I know everybody hates me for this. All our close friends and stuff hate me for this, but social media has ruined the car culture. I personally think.
You think it ruined it more so than it helped it?
Yeah, tenfold.
I was kind of 50-50 on it.
I think it ruined it more than helped it. I think the good limelight being brought to it is stuff like Street Alpha podcast and stuff, where he goes and does all these interviews against big shot, big names, big tuners, big builders, and you get to hear the inside of the behind the scenes and the science it takes to make a car perform. I think that brought good limelight to the culture. But I think
some guys that put on like Limpy, right? Like that dude's been doing this shit for fucking ever. Like he's like real nitty gritty into that shit. Like when he posts those,
but they do it right. They do it right, and they're sharing the good side.
That's my point of like that's the good side.
But the problem is that the majority that are just out here filming and all that, social media in general, bringing the bad light, and they're bringing the idiots and the problem makers and everything to the culture. That not just that, but all that has also, like you said, you got the friends of the friends of the friends of the friends showing up to record and share everything.
Just hang out and shit.
And then they leave trash everywhere.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm 36 years old. And I'm not playing, dude. The last 4 to 5 years has been the only time that I've ever seen like event coordinators have to literally damn near fight people because of the trash or the negativity or the drugs or all the problems that they bring to the to the spot. But they bring all that bad limelight and stuff to the kick, right? Like they show up, they record it, they share it. Well, now you're sharing the spot, right? And even if you don't put the name, people can see the background. Like it is what it is. Because a lot of these guys record the racing, right? And it is what it is. You can see what you can see.
Yeah,
but a lot of these other guys,
we've all done that part. Like we record the races and stuff like that.
But the problem is they're recording, how they got there. They're recording the parking lots. They're recording the background. They're being cool smoking bud. They're being cool doing drugs. They're being cool throwing the trash on the ground. They record these fights that happen. They record the crashes and the people that get hurt. And they record all this stuff. And then they share it all publicly. Of course you got, cops and everybody, that see it all. And now they're like, oh, okay, well, this is what's going on now.
About. Yeah.
And I saw a crash. I think I was with you when I was there. They crash. And the only people that go to help them nowadays is whoever's there with them.
Yeah.
Dude, how many times back in the day, we went to cash days or something. When a crash happens, that you could see the unity in everybody.
Yeah.
Nobody's, people didn't have their phones out left and right, back in the day and stuff. It was like we were there for the racing, everything went on, everything, only the people coordinating were filming with cameras and stuff. And then something bad happened, everybody rushed to help.
Yeah, nobody worried about, let's get this on camera, let's get this
No,
on
dude,
camera.
it was like,
oh, look, he's dead. I'm going to get that on camera.
Like we all cared for each other.
So,
Like we all cared for each other back then.
Yeah, even if somebody we race, right? We may have had beef with this motherfucker, whatever. We race him, and his car blows up during another race.
You pull over to help him.
We still pull over to help him. Like, it don't matter. But nowadays, bro, somebody will pull over. I mean, I'm not going to say all of it, but nowadays, majority of people, like, you'll see a fucking car on the side of the road. Just keep on bugging.
The only people that pull over when they see something bad happen is if they know him. They're friends.
Yeah, if they know him. If they don't know him, they're like, they race him, he blows his motor, dumbass, blah, blah, blah. Like, people are just fucking ignorant, immature, man. They just, again, that just ruined the whole fucking culture on that. It goes from the takeovers just to the YNs. And it's not even like a race. It's not anything. It's just a mindset. There's a certain mindset of these people nowadays, man. It's, God, man, it just sucks on that aspect. But I mean, I don't want to say like it's a whole thing that sucks, because there are still a lot of great qualities to things nowadays. Like, 100%. And the people that do have social media and that do it right on the street racing scene and shit like that, man, I congratulate them and big ups to them for sure. Because, bro, if it wasn't for them, I mean, all you would see is the bad shit. All you would see is these people posting the fucking fight videos at the fucking the race spots and shit like that. And like he was just talking about, people just, I'm smoking bud, I'm fucking sitting here watching this, I'm over here at so-and-so spot at blah, blah, blah. Like, that ruins this shit. Like, I don't know, man. I have a lot more to say about it. I'm just going to keep it to myself on this one. But yeah, that goes into the whole thing about talking about clout chasing and all that, man. Like, people are just doing it for the wrong reasons, man. I get it. If you want to get some clout, blah, 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 go somewhere else. Go do something else. The car scene has already got a bad name on it, man. Go do something else. Go get clout on fucking shit. I don't know. Fucking strippers on the fucking side of the road. Shit. Go do something else with your life, though. Don't come over here and ruin the fucking car scene even more than y'all already have and other people already have, man. Just leave it the fuck alone. Like, just leave it alone. There's no other thing. I'm not gonna say come see some little other meets. Don't go to any car scenes. Don't go to any car meets. Leave it the fuck alone if you're just about clout. Period. I don't give a fuck if you're going to a fucking straight car show. Bro, if you're just about the clout and you're just trying to get clicks and likes and shit, leave it the fuck alone.
Leave it be.
Leave it be.
I will say though, there are a lot of good. There's still a lot of good in the car community for sure. A whole lot. I do think this whole like modern day battle of like hating tuners and like bashing and like this whole dude. Oh my god, I didn't read like, you read some stuff and it's like.
So you're gonna talk about about your experiences now as a now that you're a full-fledged tuner, probably.
I wouldn't call myself a full-fledged tuner.
I'm trying to be modest.
I'm new on the market.
But he's been tuning. Like I said, he already mentioned this. I tried to get into tuning a long time ago. He's been tuning for years, a long time since I've met him, and I've now done this for almost 10 years now. And he's been tuning and just dilly dallying, bullshit here and there. I mean, he's been actually tuning, but
my little beep boops.
It wasn't on an everyday basis. Now he's tuning for other people on an everyday basis.
Yeah.
So, anyways, now he's witnessing a lot of
hate,
a lot of hate and a lot of other crap.
I never understood I mean, I do understand it, right? Like, you get loyal, right? Like you have somebody that you've used and you like that experience, and so you get loyal with it, But I never understood how that loyalty, and maybe it's just because of the way I'm built. I'm not built the same. Like
loyalty like to a tuner or loyalty
like people let that loyalty to their tuner or who they like to use make them so negative towards everybody else. Does that make sense?
Like they have blinders on, right?
Yeah, like they have to bash everybody else. And
my tuner is the best in the world, y'all. Everybody else sucks.
It's not even that. It's like if you like your tuner, put the good vibes out there of your tuner, right? Like promote him. Nah, hey, you should use so and so. I had a great experience with them. But it goes as far as F this guy, he's trash, or this guy works for that guy, he's trash. This guy's trash. And it's how do you know he's trash? Oh well, he's only been doing something this long. Are you sure about that? Do you know all the details? Do you know everything you're saying, or are you just saying it because you don't like the company, or are you just saying it because you had beef with a guy, or you had an argument with somebody one time and it put you in a bad spot, and now you're this toxic trait floating around, but the problem is that and ironically I tune for the Euro community, but I've said it before, the Euro community is toxic, dude. The Euro community,
it's not the only one though.
It's not the only one, but from I've been part of the GM community, I've been part of the Honda community, Mazda community, I've had trucks, I've had obviously the Euro community. I've had some JDMs, the Honda community, JDM community, and ironically, the Honda community back in the day used to be horrible. Yeah, they were pretty toxic. Everybody hated each other. There was really no support. Everybody was gatekeeping. Everybody didn't want to share.
I'll say about gatekeeping, but
people didn't want to share things.
In the Midwest, I'd say it was really, really cool.
Yeah, really but cool. Now you fast forward to today, and it's the Honda community's not that bad. To be honest, Honda community is not that bad no more, but the Euro community is how the Honda community used to be, but on steroids, dude.
The community for SCs, the worst, I think. these guys, bro, it is so bad. Especially because you got, these cars are pretty cheap to get nowadays, right? Just the car alone, SC400, SC300, you can get them.
The drivetrain's gotten expensive.
Under 10 grand for the car, the body itself.
Yeah.
Under 10 grand. I would even say under 5 grand for most of them nowadays. But there's so many people that can afford them. And there's a lot of fuck kids, bro. Fuck boys. And they just have an opinion about every fucking thing. They know everything. And if your built ain't doing this, blah, blah, blah. Even though they don't have shit. Their car's a bone stock car that's gutted, ripped up. They cut the fucking fenders off. They cut the quarter panels up. But then they want to talk shit about your build. And then, anybody that sells a nice SC online, in the SC community, everyone is my mama's daddy's fucking brother's sister's uncle built one that was faster than that for a quarter of that price. Okay, that's not true for one. For two, shut the fuck up because you're not buying shit. And if you want to buy it, go get a loan, whatever you got to do, go ask your mama and daddy.
My favorite.
It's just bullshit because they're so fucking toxic. That's my point. They're toxic as hell, and none of them can afford half the shit that a lot of the guys like me and the other guys in the SC community, they got nicer SCs that actually put money into the builds. Now, I'm not saying you have to have a fast car, but there's a lot of guys that they don't even have fast SCs, but they're fucking nice. They redone the car back to even factory, but it's maybe a OEM plus, and there's still guys bashing on them. And dude, you gotta have some respect for these guys, bro. You haven't done half of what they've done, and you're sitting here talking shit. You can't even afford the wheels that these guys got in their cars, and you talking shit. So my thing is, bro, stop being so fucking toxic. All the communities, stop being so fucking toxic. Just because you don't got it, don't hate.
There's a lot of hate goes around for a lot of things nowadays.
I don't understand it though. Like,
Yeah.
what does it come from?
I mean, I've already been kicked from a Discord just because of who I work for, because they had beef back in the day.
Why? Like, why are we?
But the funny thing is,
Grown ups.
the
doing
funny
stuff like
thing is though that in that same group, there were comments about cars running sixes right on my platform, and I share mine, and then people were liking it. People were like, "Oh, that's cool," we're talking about it.
Yeah.
And I got asked questions by certain individuals, and then it was like, yeah, and then they're like, "Oh, is so and so tuning you?" Because obviously, the company I work for posted it on their Instagram and stuff like that. And so it was like, well, no, I tune it myself. And they were like, oh, I guess, blah, blah. And there's past drama there that I'm not a part of, and I don't care about it. It is what it is. But just because I work for the individual that this person doesn't like no more, so much like BS drama with my name got spread around, and then and then it was like all these little fanboys jumped on, and then it was just like, dude, none of y'all know anything about me. But when you saw a self-tuner, right?
Before they knew anything.
Yeah, like just a no-name self-tuner doing his thing, running this fast, keeping
High
up,
five, bro.
keep out, it was like this is cool. Oh, you work for who? Oh, you're trash, you're dog shit, you don't know what you're talking about, you think you're a good tuner, you think you're this, you think you're that. And it's like, dude, what, like, and then, like you personally know me, and you're like, I know Anthony's been tuning for almost 10 years now, dealing with a car, even longer than that, actually. And then it's like, okay, well, now these individuals are like, well, they've only seen my name on the market for 6 months, and they think that I just hopped on.
Yeah, because you just started with this company. It doesn't mean you just started tuning.
And it's crazy.
People
But,
don't understand,
I asked,
again, idiots.
I asked an individual one time, online, because they brought it up to me. They were like, hey, I saw that in there, this and that. And so they weren't bashing me. They just saw the conversation. And so they reached out to me online and asked me, and they're like, how long have you been tuning? And so I told them about my experiences with my cars, some friends' cars, some other individuals that wanted me to tune their cars, things I've done over the years. And then they were like, oh, snap, so you're not new to this. And I'm like, no. Yeah. And then, they talk to me this and that, and the next thing you know, they're buying the tuning and stuff like that. And I'm like, it just blows my mind how the hate spreads.
It does, man.
Just because of one individual or something that has, and my biggest thing I try to tell everybody is the world is not perfect, bro. Like, if you're in the game long enough, tuners, builders, shops, even you and a buddy, or you help out friends, it doesn't matter what you do. We're talking about metal. We're talking about, fiberglass. We're talking about mechanics. We're talking about electronics. This shit is not perfect. No. And it doesn't matter who you are. You're in the game long enough. You do things long enough. Things fail. Yep. Things happen. You order parts that are bad. You do, you hit a wrong button one day because you just ain't had a good day. Something, right? Like, if you're in it long enough, bad things, something's going to go wrong at some point. This shit's not perfect.
Nothing is.
But I think one imperfection given here or there, whatever, and people take that as like, oh, we're all supposed to be perfect. Like a shop builds your car and something goes bad. Like, if they're doing that for every customer, then they're probably not good at what they're doing, right? And that's just the broad truth. But if they have 50 built cars that went immaculate, and then they have one that fell off,
right,
and something went wrong, if they did that on purpose because of money or whatever else, then yeah, that shop needs to hold that accountable. But if that was
that's another story.
Yeah, but if that's like a one-off situation, like they put the car together, tune it, and it just did not perform, it did not, and sometimes cars are duds. It happens, dude. Yep. And well, now all of a sudden, oh, they're trash. Look at them, they're trash. Mm-hmm. No, they're not trash. It's just a bad situation. Now, I will say, right, how you handle that as a company plays a big role in how your image is. 100%. And how you address that situation or meet in the middle or whatever, right? That plays a big role. But so much hate, and this is the biggest thing I love too, right? Like, people like to hold shit on some of these companies that was like 10 years ago. Mm-hmm.
You mean to tell me that you're the same person, same knowledge, same experience as 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Some people, you know, some of these shops start out and they do things the wrong way. But then you fast forward 5 years later and they're doing badass shit.
Yeah.
You know, they've learned from their experiences, they've grown, they've done great things, they've gotten 10 times better at what they do. You know, their knowledge has grown and now they're doing badass shit.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing is a lot of people don't understand that. And that whole, yeah.
And that's just.
And don't get me wrong.
Some people in general.
People do shit. They do shit. F.
Yeah, because
you know what I mean.
There's definitely been a lot of shady tuners and shady engine builders and stuff like that.
Oh
that They put a bad name out there for.
And not just that, but there are really good builders, tuners, shops, all that stuff that are really good. And for some reason, they treat a customer like trash and do them like trash.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've witnessed it way more than once. And
I fell victim to that.
Yeah.
And all fell victim to that.
And it's sad because it's like you see them, you see the work, you see the stuff they do, and it's like I know they're badass.
Right. They got great quality.
Why did
my
this?
shit not like that.
Yeah, but why did this happen to that person?
And I spent X amount of money too. You know, like why could I get that treatment still?
Yeah.
Why is my shit sitting on the back burner?
And it's
not even the back burner. Like why does my shit look like shit?
And it is shitty when you see that happen because it really makes you wonder, like, why did that happen?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And it's almost like in those situations, like these people got favorites. Do these shops have favorites? Is it because they're closer to somebody? You know, like.
Oh yeah.
And why is that even a thing? Like, say their buddy spent only 10 grand, but they have like a car that looks like it's 50 grand now. But you spent 20 grand, and your car looks like it's less than 5 grand. Like, you know what I'm saying? 5 grand worth of work.
Well, and I think it also, you know. This goes everything. This goes with everything in life, and it's just the sad truth of how it is, right? Morals don't play a key role when it comes to wealth. That's just sad truth. So you know, when a lot of these business owners, and I don't fault them for it, right? Because they got to keep their head afloat. They got families to feed. But you go in, spend 20 grand, you're gonna do this build with them. Your car comes in, they start the process, they get going on it, right? You pay half up front, you wait and pay the half at the end, right? A lot of shops do that, right? And that's for parts and shit, so they're not paying out of pocket to order everything, right? So, you know, you come in, you pay, you know, boom, here's 10 grand, go ahead, you know, they start your car, we'll have your car done by the end of the month, right? Well, 2 weeks in, 3 more customers come in, and they're like, yo, we want the $100,000 setup, we want body work, we want paint work, we want the full engine build, we want all out billet block, we want this, we want that. And they got these 3 customers now, and they're like, okay, well, we can sit on this car for 20 grand for the month. Or we can throw his shit to the side, make his ass wait, and make 300K right now if we finish these cars. And they want their car done by the end of this month. So now they jump on that, which do I understand it? 100%, but it doesn't make it right.
No,
you know what I mean? And
I was in a situation like that with this car.
Yeah, and you witnessed that. Honestly, I've witnessed that a whole lot.
Yeah.
I personally have been the one that's came in and be like, I need this. Here's the money.
Right.
And you know, and I've seen people to the right of me being like, bro, I'd be careful. You know, they're gonna take a long time. And my shit's done. Like.
Yeah. See, with my situation, I came in there. I paid my money. I paid whatever they needed up front. I paid it up front, and then I always paid whatever they needed to get done. I always paid it. Like before they even asked for it. They send me an invoice, whatever, it's already paid. They ain't gotta call me, gotta do nothing. Whatever. They're like, all right, we needed this to do this for your car. Boom, paid. And I guarantee there's a guy that's, you know, spent 100 grand in there. Sure. But
especially on the Jay-Z platform.
But maybe that guy's not paying all the time. Maybe he's waiting to the end of the month and paying like once a month. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm paying like fucking weekly or twice a week for things.
Well, I don't even think it's that, because I think people that won't pay, they'll probably push back. But the fact is,
I don't know. Because maybe they think the payout's going to be so much greater at the end of the month that they're like, okay, we'll wait, we'll push this guy back. I don't know how it's going, but I'm just saying I fell victim to that, and I'm not like crying about it, but it sucked because still after I waited, I feel like I got a
biggest thing
a shitty result.
Yeah, that's
my car
the worst.
My car was still not really drivable. The tuner did not want to work with me barely. He wouldn't remote into my stuff. My ECU was locked. I kept having problems for like a year and a half, 2 years with my car. My car basically sat in the garage all the time. Like after I spent like 20 grand with this company. And the owner of the company is a good friend of mine. I still love him, bro. He's still cool, but the tuner. Nah,
Well, that part wasn't his fault.
Yeah, that part wasn't his fault.
And he split ways with him too.
Yeah.
But which we won't say no names.
No.
But
anyway, yeah.
I remember
that part.
I remember that whole situation. You're like, bro, get into AEM. Let's tune. You know, you get in my car, and then I couldn't even get in it. I couldn't even because he locked everything out.
So I'd have to.
He didn't just like lock the tune, which is understandable to lock the tune, but he locked your whole ECM. You couldn't data log. You couldn't do anything. Dude.
Which I couldn't data log when my car was fucking up the whole time, 1.5 years. So the shop, by the way, is 2.5 hours away from me. So I'd have to drive my car, trailer it down there, which I couldn't even drive it because it was having problems.
Well, and pay him. And this is what and that's what I consider like monopoly. Like that's just claiming monopoly over like user capability. You know, like I don't. If you, and this is my personal experience, you know, getting into dealing with customers and tuning and stuff now. Lock your tunes if you want, like that 100%, so people can't see it. Maybe you're doing something different than other people. That's fine, you know. That's, and it's not even about people seeing what you do, right? It's about not allowing the customer to alter what you're giving them and then try to blame you, right? Like there's a safety net there if you can lock your tune.
I can agree to that to an extent. Because you can
so
always go back and see if they altered anything. I mean, if you overlap,
if you compare it to my save stuff,
right?
But now you're getting into he said, she said. Did you edit it? Did I edit it? Is there a timestamp on the saved file? Is there a good comparison? What data is there to prove that I didn't change it or you didn't change it, right? So there's locking tunes is a warranty, not saying you warranty your tune, but it's a warranted aspect to say, okay, I know my customer can't touch or change what I did that he paid me to do. So, however, if you're working on a platform that cannot lock it without locking the customer out, personally, if you don't like your stuff being seen, then don't tune the platform.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
Because my biggest thing is like in Ty's situation, you know, being here with that, his entire ECU was locked out from him and passcoded, may I add, by a business. We could not log the car to see why it was sputtering. We could not log the car to see what we needed to fix on the car. There was no way to do anything with the data or the ECM. And the problem was too that the ECM was permanently locked that way, and there was no way. Like, even if he pulled the ECM off, he still has to get in contact for that individual to get the password to unlock that ECM, to clear it, to even sell the ECM if he went a different route.
Well, no, the only thing I could have done was literally
factory reset
and wiped it out to nothing, and my car wouldn't have even started at that point.
But my point is, though,
should have had to do that, though.
But my point is, like, we couldn't even diag the car. Mm-hmm. Like, he locked out full, like user capability, you know, on the back end. So, and that's because,
I will say it's AMV2. You can't just lock a tune anyway. You have to lock.
Well, and that's the point I'm getting at. That's the point I'm getting at.
Yeah, like you said, don't fucking lock it. If you don't want to do this, if you don't want to fucking, if that's where you're gonna be, you get to lock the whole thing, blah blah, whatever. You have to lock your tune, and you know this can only lock the whole ECU, not just the tune. Don't tune it. Like, I would have been fine. I would have went to a different tuner. Like, just told me that.
Tune on a platform.
But my whole thing was a package deal. I paid for all that shit. You know what I'm saying? I paid for all of it. I almost spent $20,000, bro. Like, and that's not, to me, that's a lot of fucking money. Some people, it's not, oh, that's just $20,000. No, bro, that's a lot of fucking money.
That's a lot of money, period.
Especially when you grew up fucking poor and, you know what I'm saying, you saved up money and did shit and you put it in just something you love. And that's why I don't like going to shops, bro. Like, I've done everything myself. Like, 90% of the shit on the car, I've done myself. Unless I can't do, which is the tuning and the fabrication work. And then the shop did, because my buddy, the one that owns or partially owns the company, whatever, he hooked me up on like labor and stuff like that, and then a small discount on the Grandest Racing kit. Only reason I let them do it is because of that. I was hooking them up, and I also shot them out and stuff like that, whatever. Otherwise, I would have bought the Grandest kit myself and just did it myself. Because I could do anything myself pretty much on this shit besides, like I said, fab work and tuning. But that's why I have such a negative thing about like going to certain like shops, period. Like, I feel like I never get the result of anybody else. Even though I'm spending good money, I would never get the results. I've been to 2 shops and it's been very similar situations, and I don't know why. Like, we're always friendly, right? Everything seems all good and kosher, but then the result I get is shitty compared to that next customer. Why is that?
Well, the one shop's probably money, because the other cars are like balls deep. But you never know.
Never know.
But
yeah,
the biggest factor though is I guess what we were talking about earlier is just the whole like construct of the delusion behind everything. You know, like we see one thing that's supposed to be, you know, like this value should give me this.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you start the process, you start realizing like, oh no, it's double the value.
Oh yeah,
It's
for
triple
sure.
the value. And then, you know, because things happen.
Yeah, extra parts might be needed or whatever. Yeah, you can't just say I'm gonna go spend 10 grand and, you know, that's what they tell you. Like, say they estimate, the shop says, okay, 10 grand is, you know, will get you in the ballpark what you need. It's always gonna be more. Always, because there's gonna be either extra labor for this or that, or extra parts for this or that. It's always going to be, no matter what you do, no matter what platform you have. And I'm not gonna say unless it's a package deal, because even then, there's still, every car is not the same. Every car is not the same. There may be a car that goes in there. There may be 2 cars that go into the shop. Bone stock cars. Brand fucking new. They both go in there. One comes out perfect. The other one comes out, it needs a lot more parts or needs this and that, whatever. It can't be the same for every single car. I mean, there's always gonna be some kind of a factor there. It's gonna be different.
Well, not just that, like you know, I don't think a lot of people take this into consideration. 2 of the exact same cars won't flow the same airflow rate either.
Not always. No.
You know,
I mean, you could get hit. You could get that, but most of the time, yeah, you probably not.
You know, like I mean, we witnessed it on one customer I'm tuning here local.
Mm-hmm.
My GTI on the same setup, 6.8, but the same setup on his car, and even the flow rate, like looking at the milligrams per air that he runs on the same turbo, it was way less. Like the car just did not flow good. The motor didn't want to flow it. We put all my parts in his car, and it still didn't do it. He went bigger turbo,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it still didn't do as good as my other one did, and it just doesn't flow good, you know. And there's something with his motor or something that, you know, just isn't. It's not, you know, like we said, some motors are duds, some motors are you know, factory freaks and stuff.
Yep. That's just what it is, though, and that can go with any kind of car, any kind of build, whatever. It's what it is.
Did you watch that Street Alpha podcast? I'm giving a shout out here. Street Alpha podcast where he interviewed Shane T.
Not sure.
It's one of his recent ones. I was watching that, and Shane said something that I thought was actually like I agree with Shane on what he said, but there, I would add a little more to it. But Shane said that too many people today argue about which tuner makes more power.
Oh yeah. No, I watched that. Yeah, we watched that. Yeah.
So, and his statement was that the tuner doesn't make the power. Right. He said that too many people are focused on which tuner can make more power, blah blah blah, X Y Z, and he said that that's not the factor. He goes that the power comes from how well the car is put together.
Yeah.
He goes, the builder that puts the good setup, the good combination of parts, the good everything together, that sets the foundation of what that car is capable of doing, not the tuner. The tuner doesn't pull miracles. That sets the foundation,
Yeah.
right? And too many people today argue between tuners, and that kind of goes what I mentioned earlier, like, oh, I hate this guy, I hate that guy.
Yeah.
My loyalty makes me hate everybody else.
Yeah.
If you take 3 competent tuners on that platform that understand what they're doing, and they all 3 tune that same setup, the odds are they're going to be very, 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 very close in the end.
The cars,
What the car's going to
perform
do.
differently. Everyone will perform differently, though.
Well, I'm saying the same car. You take 3
yeah.
tuners that are very confident
Yeah, that's what I'm
on
saying.
pushing that car.
Every tune on that car they will perform different on that car.
No, it actually will perform very close to the same.
Think so?
Yes, and 3 competent tuners. We're not saying a shitty tuner.
Yeah, no.
3 competent tuners on that same
I just
setup.
beg to differ for the simple fact of those 3 tuners. Yeah, it can be very similar, but I think everyone still they have their own little sauce. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, for sure. But
so there's maybe something that tuner doesn't know that one does.
yes,
and
but
vice versa.
his reality though is you take 3 competent tuners on that setup and they push that setup to its limits, that setup's only going to go so much.
Yeah.
And the 3 competent tuners that know how to get that car there, the results are going to be very, very close.
On that. If you try
And so it's not the tuner that made the miracle, it's the build.
right.
And now obviously if you take a guy that does something way different than another guy, and this guy, this guy obviously is more in depth, has learned more of what flows better, and then this guy doesn't know those tricks, and then obviously this guy's going to have a better result. Which that's my add-on to that. You kind of fast-paced me and what I was going to add to what he said. I agree with him under the concept that every single tuner is capable of performing that. But the reality is that out here, that's not the case. I mean, like I said, I'm far from being like a top dog, even tuning the platform that I tune for now. I haven't been in I don't have enough skin in the game to say that, I think that I've proven myself through my GTI, through my Golf R, and a few customers. I think I've proven myself that, I'm very capable, I'm trustworthy, but I don't have enough skin in the game to say like I'm a top dog. I just don't, right? But there are definitely other guys like me that are no-name guys. I say no name, meaning we're not like no big company. We don't have big shops. We don't run $1 million business.
Yeah, you should.
And they do tuning out here too, and they do crazy good work. Then there's some big name shops that tune on my platform that we see do shitty work when it comes to tunes. And so there's a whole bunch of quote unquote no name guys that are tuning for buddies and tuning for guys out here that do amazing work. Mm-hmm. And then there's big shops that do amazing work. But it's crazy how like, oh, these no name guys, blah blah blah. We own big shops, this and that. And these no name guys, when you look at the top leaderboards for my platform,
a lot of no name guys.
I call them no name. I call them no names because we don't own big shops or nothing.
You're right. And average Joe, so to speak.
GLS is up and top. That's who I work for. We don't own no big shop or nothing. Gary, who owns GLS, who I work for. He started this as like a side thing. Mm-hmm. He has a day job. He runs a business on the side, kind of like what I do. I got a day job. I do tuning on the side. Shout out Matthew Cooper. Matthew Cooper, he does his own thing, this and that, and then he got into tuning and stuff, this and that. He's not no $1 million shop owner or nothing, but he does great. His car's #1 car on the board right now. So you got guys, you got big shops that can produce, but there's so much hate that goes around because your loyalty and stuff, but then you don't give quote unquote no name guys a chance because there's a lot of guys that have been doing things for years but never gone professional. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of knowledge and experience that can be brought to the table.
Yeah, I agree.
When they come to the table.
I
know guys right now that were doing stuff in the backyard like it was nothing, and they're crazy smart. I wish they would get into this kind of stuff and make money.
I say some guys are like they've been doing it for years. They just don't want to be in the limelight. They don't want to tune for other people like that. They just do like hearing their kind of things. But also I was gonna say, I think a lot of the little guys are shit on by some of these big shops because these big shops are scared. I honestly think that, and this is not just in the Euro world. This is all over.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these big shops that talk down on the average Joe Schmo guy because he's a threat. He's a threat to their business because if this average Joe guy over here can tune it for a little bit cheaper, they're gonna lose a lot of fucking business.
Yeah.
But the thing is, who gives a fuck, bro? There's enough out there for everybody to eat, bro.
That's what I was about to get at. I don't think they're afraid of losing business.
I think some. I'm not saying all.
Yeah.
I'm saying some.
There's so much business out here that everybody gets to eat, and that's the reality. But I think it's more about their name.
Well, that's what I'm getting at.
That's what I think it's more about.
They're gonna lose money, and then they're gonna have Joe Schmo is tuning better or tuning cheaper and better. You know what I'm saying? Than said big shop. Then they're like, okay, well, what the fuck, man? Now, what are we gonna do? Now their name is kind of tarnished or something in their eyes, when it's really not, because again, there's so much opportunity out here to get business from all kind of people. I mean, hell, you end up working with Joe Schmo, and
You know, and you know, there's a lot of people around here that, you know, ask me a lot of times about, you know, because you know, I've had a couple bigger name shops, cars come over and want to get tuned by me, and you know, and I've actually been asked this, like, does it make you feel good, you know, that you're tuning whatever or so and so's car, you know?
No, it's not about
and
that.
I'm like, nah, dude. I mean, like I said, you know, there's one reason. Really, there's only one reason I got into doing this, like actually like doing it publicly and you know, doing customers essentially, right, and working for GLS, and that's because of talking to Gary, the owner, getting to know him, and everything like that. He started doing this because people asked him to tune their cars, as he was like publicly tuning his own car, doing other things, and then he kind of started the business because there was enough people, and it just kind of developed to what it is today.
Snowball effect. Yeah.
Snowball effect. And the reason he does it today is because he brings something to the market that's cheaper than all the big corporates and all the big everything. And he comes off as a if Gary, if you see this, I know you're gonna hear this. He comes off as a big grizzly teddy bear, you know, but he actually does care, and that's the image I got from him was like, okay, you know, he keeps his prices cheaper, he keeps his thing. He does this because, you know, he cares to have something that is not raping the people.
Right.
You know, to view a log after 6 months, he doesn't charge them for that. To pay for a whole new tune because they got new injectors, you know, he doesn't rape them a pricing for that. You know, and that's what all these big shops do.
Yeah.
You got to pay again and pay again and pay again and pay again and pay again.
I want to give a shout out to my tuner too, man. J.R. Crosby out in Utah. Yeah, anytime I hit him up, even to this day, like I got my car tuned by him last year, bro, and I can hit him. I hit him up like a week or two ago, just to see if he can get my my idle different, you know. 'Cause I was trying to hear my lope for my cam, whatever. But anyway, he never says no. He never an asshole, and he's always there, bro. Like he doesn't charge me extra. I give him money just extra just because he's such a cool ass dude, and he does great fucking work. I will say though, he does care too much. He wouldn't let me blow up my car. No.
You won't let me blow up my car.
No, but I love that about him. Like he doesn't want me to blow up my car, but he's like, hey man, it's your car. If you want to do it, I'll do it. I'll turn it up. You gotta remember, it's your choice, your car.
I'll turn it up.
I'll turn it up.
But I definitely gotta have it in writing. Like every car that I tune, I'll tune it to a point where it's like, okay, you know, based on the logs, based on what I'm seeing, everything, you know, there's a point, a good efficient range of power / point, you know, where it's like, okay, this is where I'm gonna sit, you know, this is where I'm comfortable at sitting. And then if the customer's like, well, it's not where I want, then okay, well, I need you to understand that based on what I'm seeing in the logs, if I go any further, we put your turbo at risk. If I push to a certain power level, now your motor's at risk. If I do, and if you're willing to do that risk, I don't care. I'll push it. It's your car.
And that's the same way JR,
you know, it's your car.
Said with me, man. He's like, okay, dude. He's like, this is what I know because I've been tuning for a long time. That's what he's telling me. You know, I've been tuning
but
for a long time.
if you want it,
but if you want, we can do it. I'm just letting you know. With this turbo, on this setup, on that car, on the stock motor, I wouldn't go past this. Yeah. And I'm like, well, can we just push it to the edge of that? You know, like, he's like, well, I'm just letting you know, you're gonna take a time off if you do that. It's not necessarily saying the motor's gonna blow, but I'm on stock head studs. So he didn't want me to push it back past a certain PSI, whatever, blah, blah. So I kept it lower. Anyway, all that goes to say is just, it is hard to find like good tuners that actually care like that. And it is, again, a lot of them are smaller fucking tuners that, you know, give a damn.
Big companies, they have so much, I guess you can say revenue, right? They have so much revenue coming and going, so many customers coming and going and ordering that they have a standard, and they're not willing to deviate from that standard.
Yep.
And that was one thing I really liked about Gary was, you know, I paid him to tune my car, and then he realized who I was because we met online years ago.
Yeah.
We got to talking. He was like, "Man, tune your own damn car." You know, he goes, "I know you can do it," and I'm like, "Nah, I paid you. You do it." You know, I don't want to do it. And that led to us talking. That led to one thing to another. He made me tune my own car. Performed well. You know, he helped me get familiar on this software a little bit better. Then we progressed to my Golf R now with the GTI, and it performed well and this and that. And then one thing just led to another to where now I'm on the team, right?
Which, thank you for the opportunity, Gary. But my thing is, like, there's not, when these big companies do that, they have a standard, and they're not going to want to communicate with the customer to, like, negotiate a risk. Okay, so you paid me to tune it. Here it is with all the information. You did your logs,
There's a
revisions.
standard of what they do, and that's it.
Well,
Period.
he finishes the tune, and hey, you're done. Well, I'm not happy with what it's doing. Well, that's all you get.
Yep.
You paid me. That's what you get. It is. It's done. It is what it is.
Yep.
And that's how a lot of these big companies do. Sadly. And there's
And
a
I
point.
get it to an extent. They gotta look out for their names and all that.
Exactly. They look out for the name. And I don't want anybody's car to fail. But at the same time, it's one of those things like it's your car.
Right.
And that's the way I look at it.
I want you to enjoy it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want you to enjoy
Every
it.
time I go out, like anybody that knows me, I push this shit out of my car.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
We know that.
So every car I've ever owned,
That's the limit?
Yeah.
Now I'm going a little bit further.
Yeah. And that's always been me. With every car I've ever owned. And so, yeah. So I understand that feeling when, like for the platforms I did have that I didn't have a software to do myself and I got to pay somebody. You get to a point where it's like, well, hey, I looked at that log. I want to do this. And they're like, no, I would never do that. Well, why not? You know what I mean? Like, why not?
Yep.
Well, because that won't work. How do you know? Well, it won't work. Let's try it. Well, I'm not going to. Well, I would like, okay, we're done with your car.
Yeah.
And like that's that brick wall you hit,
Yep.
and and don't get me wrong. Every customer thinks they know better.
Oh yeah, always.
So, and I'm starting to realize that, but every
Customer's always right, bro. Don't you know that?
yeah. So every customer thinks they know better, right? And that's the majority of the game. And sometimes they do. It's their car. They're in person with you.
On some things, yeah, they might, yeah.
And so and then some don't, right? Like it is what it is. But real car enthusiasts, kind of goes back to what we're talking about. Are they doing it for fucking TikTok, or are they doing it because they actually in it? But some people actually are into cars. They know what their gap needs to be. They know how they're checking their plugs. They're checking it, and that's a big factor that comes into play, like your maintenance. Your everyday maintenance, your everyday overlook of the car, your everyday, the way you take care of the car, the way you drive the car, everything plays into a role in the performance of the vehicle.
Yeah, definitely does.
And the customers that are in tune with that are usually the customers that get the best result, especially when you're doing e-tuning and stuff like that. Because now you have a customer that keeps their car at peak performance, they keep their car at peak maintenance, peak health, everything. And so when I get a log, I know for sure that log, I'm seeing what I need to see. If I see something wrong and I think it's probably the fueling or probably something like this, it probably is because they're keeping everything good in the car. Then you get the customers that's like, like I've had a customer that's like a whole bunch of knock on the car. And it's like, dude, okay, well, I don't know what's going on with your car because I got you all the way down to only 2 degrees of timing, and it's knocking. Dude, it's knocking like the police on fucking, Friday night. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. Something ain't right. Then you start digging down a rabbit hole like, okay, you said your plugs are gapped, right? Well, yeah. Well, when was the last time you checked the gap? Oh, like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Holy.
And they've been beating on their car.
Like what do you mean 6 months ago? Well, yeah, when the shop put it together 6 months ago, that's when they put. I said, so you're on the plug I want, on the gap I want 6 months ago. Pull your plugs and look at them.
Yeah, a lot of people are not aware that after. I mean, if you normal drive your car, you're not gonna have really many problems like that, right? But when you're beating on your car, you're racing it, your gap is likely to change just a little bit, bro. It could change.
Well, it's not even about the gap changing, right? It's just about the plug wearing out in general.
I'm just saying I've seen it. Like even on my car, my gap has changed because I'm over here. I hit maybe a little detonation or something or anything, whatever. Just from beating it, the heat cycling and all that. The gap will fucking change. Either get tighter or looser. It's gonna change. It doesn't stay that way. That's why you always, like you said, you gotta stay on your maintenance. You gotta change their plugs. You gotta check them. If your plugs are good to go, and you don't need to change them, at least check the gap, re-gap them, and put them back in. But never just keep fucking beating on your car and you're having these issues and not check your gap.
Yeah,
always check your gap in your car.
I've got people that ran like 20,000 miles on a plug, and they're trying to push it like I was pushing my car, and I'm like, you're crazy,
Bro, no, you can't.
You're crazy.
Not like how you were.
But I mean, But that also goes to say, not every, and that's the kind of tuner I try to be, is the tuner that says, hey, let's figure this out, let's do this, let's work together. A lot of tuners won't. A lot of tuners nowadays are like, something's wrong, I saw it in the log, figure it out.
Yeah.
It's not my job to figure it out. You go pay your shop or you figure it out.
And that's, everybody has their thing. Like, I respect that too, because they don't want to have to get into all that shit. You know?
Yeah,
and
you're not paying me for that, so
Right.
that's not what I'm going to do.
And that's cool. But then I respect the ones more that actually take some time to help you, because there are some people that really love cars, but they don't know enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're still learning. So
Or even if they don't know a lot, like, you need to go figure it out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
But
and if I can
there
help
are
you,
some
I'll try to
tuners
help
that will
you.
work with you to say, hey, look, if you just look into this, this will help you find out, what's wrong with your car. You know what I'm saying? They'll give you like hints or whatever. Like my tuner, he listens to me, even though I'm not always right about shit. I'm wrong about a lot of shit, but I've been in the game for a long time, but there's stuff I'm still learning today.
Yeah.
Like everybody. If you're not learning, then you're fucking an idiot. But my tuner listens.
Yeah, you never know everything.
My tuner listens to me, and I listen to my tuner. I listen to my tuner a lot. Do I still give him feedback or whatever? Yeah, I'm gonna give him feedback because I'm a human being as well. We're all humans, and we all have our own opinions and our own thought processes. So even though he tells me one thing, I'm still gonna come back and say, well, what about this? How about this? Blah blah blah. And then we'll have a conversation about it real quick, and then whatever the result is, either I'm right or he's right. Most of the time he's right. Then we'll still at the end of the day have a good result because we've actually communicated. He didn't just blow me off. I didn't just blow off what he said. We actually sat there and actually figured something out. And even if say we didn't figure something out right now, he said, okay, let's go try this, this, and this, and then come back to me, next week or something. I'll do that. I'll do what the fuck he said to do because, for one, I know it most likely is right because it sounds right to me. And if it doesn't sound right to me, I'm still gonna probably do it because he's been doing it for the long ass fucking time. He's been tuning for a long time, so he knows what he's talking about.
Well, not just that, but if you at least go check what the tuner's asking you to check, you alleviate on the tuner side what he possibly thinks it could be.
Yes.
Which now he can look for a different aspect in the log, because a lot of times, something can put you down a rabbit hole of being evident of something. And when you find out that it's not that, then the problem really stands out to you because now well, it's none of that, which means it has to be this.
Right, like somebody can think like their spark plug is bad, like you're back on spark plug, whatever. But say they just put spark plugs in, oh man, I'm having problems, it's still cutting out, blah blah blah. They've been through 6 sets of spark plugs, still doing the same thing. It's not timing, it's not ignition, whatever. It's not none of that. It's a simple thing like it could have been a bad ground on the fucking the coil packs or something. It could have been anything like that. Something so minute and small. Like I've seen it. It happened in my car too. Like I've had where I need a new wiring harness in my car, by the way. I had somebody build it for me years ago. But anyway, I was having some issues with it before. It was like cutting out whatever before, and I didn't know what it was. I thought it was like the coil packs, thought it was plugs. It was none of that. Put brand new coil packs, brand new spark plugs, wasn't none of that. Come to find out, it was a fucking bare wire arcing out on the metal on my car, like on the fucking engine, whatever. I'm like, I never would have fucking known that if I didn't actually look into it.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people, they don't even do that. A lot of people just fucking, they're like, oh well, I'll just send it to a shop or whatever. Anyway.
Down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, you go down a rabbit hole trying to find something, and most of the time, if you just listen to your tuner, you'll fucking get shit figured out. Is my point.
Well, communication. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, listen to them, communicate with them, and you get things figured out. But I think we're probably gonna wrap this up. I think this is a pretty good first podcast for us. I think, and if we keep going, I say we will. Even if it's not like every week or whatever, we'll do it here and there and see how it goes. We'll talk about different things. Some stuff will get brought up again, of course, because there's gonna be plenty of conversations that will lead into other conversations that were past and whatever.
Yeah, discussion.
But we'll try to keep this mostly about cars, but we'll talk about some other stuff here and there. We'll have different topics and shit. Y'all just let us know, give us some feedback, what y'all thought, and we'll just go from there, man. Let us know if you enjoyed it. I think this kind of shit is fun, man, because we normally shoot the shit with either just each other or like our other friends and shit, man. Why not make it into something that we can share with others, This is not even about clout. I don't give a fuck if it gets likes or not, but I would like to know at least if people are interested in it. So yeah, just let us know how you think, how we did, and we'll keep on.
Till next time.
Till next time. Peace.